Now on BBC One, Mari Ashby has this week's Inside Out East Midlands.
And why hospital radio matters from someone who knows.
When you talk to the patients in hospital, you realise that this really did make a difference to them, mattered to them, that somebody knew their situation and was responding to it.
The stories that matter closer to home. This is Inside Out East Midlands. Hospital radio is almost as old as the BBC. It all began 90 years ago, but it wasn't until the 1950s that broadcasting to bed-bound patients really took off. Even today, there are well over 100 stations in hospitals across the country. Well, BBC Radio Nottingham's Mark Dennison's been back to the place where he first took to the airwaves and where they're celebrating a big birthday this year.
It's 1974. McDonald's opens its first restaurant in the UK. A man attempts and fails to kidnap Princess Anne. And a pink, cuddly cat makes its first appearance on the Beeb. More details to come in the news at midday. The weather forecast. And in my hometown of Nottingham, a new radio station hits the airwaves. I'm Mark Dennison, and I've been broadcasting across the East Midlands for a fair number of years. And this is where my own story starts.
Oh, is it more, too much more than a pretty face?
Nottingham Hospital's radio now in its 40th year. I thought I'd go back and see how it all started and see what the future is for hospital radio as well.
I'm gonna make you a star.
Run by volunteers, each hospital has its own radio station. Here in Nottingham, it's called NHR. Places like this were a terrific training ground for people like me, and after almost 25 years away, it's nice to be back.
Hello, nice to see you. And you? Come on in.
So here we are, a table full of memories, including one or two handsome chaps there. Rod, is it fair to say this radio station predates the QMC itself?
Yeah, very much so. 74 started at down at the City Hospital, and the Queen's was being built, and the old place was starting to get cold and drafty. And basically, they, as I say, they sought the management out and said, "Can we get some rooms?" And they got permission, and they came over here late 70s.
It wasn't just about getting into radio. Yeah, I love going around the wards and collecting requests and meeting people and having a chat with people. It was great. And ward visits are still an important part of the day. It's a chance to get requests on air and have a good old chinwag with some of the patients. Chris, nice to meet you. How long have you been in hospital?
It'll be about a year.
A year?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And what does hospital radio give to you?
Keeps me going, keeps me sane.
What do you think it is about hospital radio that keeps you going back for more?
Because I just think music helps lift your spirits. You can get lost in the moment for a while it's playing, and then, yeah, so it cheers you up. Yeah, definitely.
As a charity, fundraising is crucial to keep NHR on the air, and it's been a battle to keep the cash coming in. Some stations, including Derby's Hospital Radio, have sadly closed. Have there been times when it's gone pretty close to the wire?
On a number of occasions, and there were times when you thought, can we afford to pay the landline bill? Can we afford to pay any bill, basically? But somehow you all get together, a group of you scratch your heads, and decide what is the way we can do this? Where can we go and get the money? It's always a battle, like any charity, to get the money in and to keep the place going.
And now we are going to play a little request for Mark. Apparently this is one of his favourites. This is Buggles, and Video Killed the Radio Star.
I heard you on the wireless back in 52.
Great song, but I think Buggles got it wrong. Radio's as big as it ever was, and I certainly wouldn't be doing the job I'm doing now without the help of hospital radio. And there are plenty of familiar voices who started the same way. I've come down to Radio 2 to meet one of them. Ken, thank you for having us at Radio 2 today.
Pleasure.
So why do you think hospital radio is so important then?
It's absolutely vital, because when you're in hospital, you sort of need a little comfort, a little belief that somebody is there for you. You can feel alone, you can feel left out of things, and when there's somebody on the radio, they know your situation. You're in hospital. They're not talking to people who are out driving cars, riding bicycles, playing sport. You're talking to people who are in a hospital bed. I mean, when I did hospital radio, I was never quite sure, you know, is this working? Is this getting anywhere? But when you talk to the patients in hospital, you realise that this really did make a difference to them, mattered to them, that somebody knew their situation and was responding to it.
Well, competition for listeners is getting more and more fierce all the time. The same applies to hospital radio. We're looking for new listeners, we're looking to keep people interested, we're looking at new ways of people being able to listen as well. This lot are now 25 years old. They're obviously doing something right. Let's go and see what they're up to.
Hi, Mark.
All right.
Welcome to Millside.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here. Nice place.
Yes, thank you very much.
Especially for Paul out there, that was S Club 7, one of his favourite tracks there.
Millside Radio, based in Kings Mill Hospital in Mansfield, is determined to make their shows accessible to all, and they're not shy about promoting their product. Trevor, congratulations. 25 years of Millside, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, it's come a long way since the original guys used to sit in the attic of the Dukery Centre with a cassette player.
Just like to tell you at the moment, messages for around about 1:45 is Talking Shop with Tom Lancaster through to 1 o'clock, and that's his solid chat with Mr. Jeremy Beadle himself.
Now, I know listeners are quite demanding. I think these days they're probably demanding even more, and you've had to cope with that as well.
We found several years ago people visiting their friends and relatives on the ward were asking us the question, can we hear Millside at home? We do now have a presence online, so people can listen to it on the internet, on smartphones, smart TVs, internet radios. And quite often we have people on the wards, as patients, and friends and relatives at home listening to the same programmes at the same time.
I've got a very rare condition called Addison's disease. It basically puts me in hospital every so often when my steroids are not working in my body, because every time I come in hospital I never watch the telly, I've always got the radio on, and it's that station I've got on.
I had kidney failure and they're just trying to find out the cause of it at the moment.
Right.
It's a long day if you don't have any sort of entertainment at all, and we've been in a single room, so I do have it on quite a lot, yes. Me and my daughters asked for Build Me Up Buttercup, so we had to sing along together.
It's clear hospital radio is transforming, with new technology making a big difference to patients' days. To end, I've been invited to a relaunch party over at Radio Witham in Grantham Hospital. With a new studio and new equipment, it's time to celebrate their success. Howard, thank you for the invite to the party. Lovely to be here, and you really had to move, didn't you? I saw the old place. This is something else.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, the fact that the old building was there with rain pouring through the roof in the sort of heavy seasons of rain, it was just a case of we had to. The hospital gave us this room, and now we're here in a new home. People love it. The volunteers really love it. The patients love what we've got as well, and the hospital are more than happy. It's without them and the League of Friends we really couldn't have done this. So thank you to those, and thank you for going to the party. Here's to another 30 years in our brand new studio, so another 30 years.
I think hospital radio has a massive future. I can remember 30 odd years ago people saying, well, hospital radio is finished, it's on decline, it's going nowhere. There will always be a need for somebody to talk personally to patients in hospital, and the persons who do that best are those in hospital radio.
As doctors, you rush in the morning, often you can drop a bombshell on someone, maybe if it's a diagnosis or a treatment plan for the day, and then you get on with your day. To preoccupy them during the day and for something for them, I think the radio is really important.
Welcome along to Your Choice. It is James and Robert here.
It's actually really nice because a lot of people are a bit down or a bit, a bit sad or a bit unhappy, and it does make their day a lot of the time.
You know what, up and down the country, there's a small army of people like this giving up their evenings, their weekends, keeping hospital radio stations on the air. What a fantastic job they're doing. Good luck to them. Long may it continue.
Happy birthday, hospital